What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 mod career mode in Kimi Raikkonen's Ferrari car for round number 13 today at the Italian Grand Prix, but episode number 12, of course, as we had that double header a few episodes ago. Here is the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. We've actually got pole position by just 1/10 exactly to Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas third place, Vettel fourth. So we've done the job in qualifying there, so the Tifosi will be pretty damn happy from Saturday, but can we finish off the job for Sunday and try and get an elusive win at Monza, which would be absolutely amazing, obviously, as we're in the Ferrari car of Raikkonen. But this is going to be the first race that I do after coming back from LA. The last few episodes have been all pre-recorded, so I haven't driven this game in a long while. So let's see how I do. There may be a few mistakes along the way. Let's go to 5 red lights to the Italian Grand Prix off pole position in the Ferrari car. 5 red lights are out and we're underway. A lot of wheel spin in first gear and second as we climb up the gears now. Hamilton is going to get an okay start on us, but looks like he's just not got enough legs to maybe go on the right hand side. We try and cover him off there and we go pretty much in the middle of the circuit. Vettel slices through the two Mercedes in the middle of the circuit and looks like he may try and overtake. Yes, he has. Sebastian Vettel's made it a 1-2 for Scuderia Ferrari here at the Italian Grand Prix. The crowd are probably going wild at this point, but it may not last for too long as we cut on later on to lap 1. At the moment, I'm bolting like kind of like the Red Bulls of old in the old era. You know, I may not have the straight line speed, but I've got the 1 lap pace there on the opening lap to break the DRS line, break the slipstream line. But unfortunately for my teammate Vettel, who did make that double overtake into turn 1 to go up into P2, he's got some company behind us. Meanwhile, behind Perez, actually going down the inside, they go side by side through Parabolica. Bit of contact made there, but Perez is going to try and overtake. This will be Lewis Hamilton, I think, for third place. So the Force India going very well indeed. And there he goes. He has overtaken the Silver Arrow. Speaking of the other Silver Arrow, Bottas, though, goes down the inside of Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, looks like the Ferrari car has just not got the straight line speed against the Mercedes cars down at this obviously long high-speed circuit. So, you know, it's a good thing that I've bolted so early because it means I've broken that DRS line. I've broken any sort of slipstream line, but it clearly looks like the Ferrari car, even mine included, must be, it doesn't have the straight line speed, but Vettel obviously is probably running default setup compared to my kind of custom setup, so I'm not too sure about that. But as we go down the order, 2 Force Indies going quite well. Williams, I think, of Massa lowly down the order, and then we've also got, I think this is Daniel Ricciardo, I think this is, because I think Verstappen is up there in the top 5, but Ricciardo going a little bit slow down the order at the very bottom of the top 10, so he's had some issues there. We move on later, and we've got Perez still charging now in what will be 4, and he's now closing up to Sebastian Vettel, and he fancies himself for the podium position. So Perez going very, very well indeed, and here he goes indeed. He's going to go to the right-hand side, down the inside of turn 1. There we go, down off the camera. Then Bottas P2, and then Perez is looking like he's going to get through into P3. Yes, he does. So Perez going very, very well here, just like he did back in 2012, wasn't it? Went very well indeed back in his Sauber in the 2012 days. And then behind him, look at that, Verstappen loses a place to the Haas car. So I think he's down in what will be around P6 or 7 there. So the 2 Red Bull cars having a dismal Italian Grand Prix. Not surprising, really. Obviously, they're powered by the Renault engine, branded Tag Heuer. And so on this very long, on these all very long straights here at Monza, yeah, you wouldn't be too surprised that them and McLaren Honda wouldn't be going too well here. And also the Renault car, obviously. But now we move on to lap 4 now. So it's been pretty much a case of us just leading the Grand Prix, trying to control this race, seeing how long we can go on these super soft tyres. But now you can see they're really starting to wear out. They're not giving us the amount of grip and kind of speed we need in these corners through Parabolica going very lightly. And now we're going to come into the pits now on lap 4. My engineer actually was recommending I come in on lap 3, so I've actually taken it a lap longer than the game recommended it I should. So I think we've done pretty okay there. I think Bottas may have continued on, but so we'll try and get a bit of an undercut here. Generally, so far on this mod, though, the undercut hasn't been amazing. Generally, you want the overcut on this mod in the game so far, so maybe this may end up being not a great decision, but we'll see. But my tyres were already feeling second hand, so I just felt like we'll go on the medium tyres and see what's what. But as we come out now, we may have some company. We've got the Sauber and McLaren that are past us of Vandoorne and I want to say Verline, but then this Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz comes through. Obviously the newly painted Toro Rosso this year, blue and silver, and Sainz has got a good enough exit. I think that Toro Rosso is pretty actually nippy in a straight line on this mod. So here he goes round round the outside. He's on soft tyres now, so he's going to have better grip than us. Obviously, we've come out on cold mediums, so here goes Sainz. We're going to duck out and go early to the inside, actually, and we faked a little bit and went to the inside there, round the outside now for the second part of the chicane, and we're up into 15th place. So just did a bit of a dummy there, braked a little bit in the middle of the straight to get down to the inside. Sainz didn't expect it, and so we got that move pretty easily. So now onto the next lap now. Finally, Sergio Perez, Vettel and Hamilton all in for their pit stops. Hamilton onto a set of medium tyres, the same as my set. Vettel, who is still ahead of Hamilton, is onto a set of, I think that is super soft tyres, and the same for Perez. But look at that, Perez has been jumped by two of those cars, so really demonstrating the lack of experience from Force India. But as we come down the pit lane, we're going to go side by side with Sebastian Vettel. Is going to be very, very close here into turn one. We've got round the outside, but we've gone so deep into that corner, compromise our turn in for the second part of the corner as we exit that chicane, and so Vettel's going to get a really good exit on the left-hand side. So now we have to tuck into the slipstream of our teammate and try and re-overtake him if we can. We're going to have a look around the outside on the left. It's going to be very, very close. Tyre on the grass there on the left-hand side. Vettel not giving us an inch there, and I tried to make something happen, but I just sensed at the last minute there Vettel had it, and it was a good thing I did, because Vettel actually ended up going deep, and that would have been some contact made and probably a bit of front wing off if I had actually tried to make that move. So Vettel late on the brakes there, not putting up a fight there. Obviously, he's not too far off my championship lead at the moment. Of course, it's 1-2 in the championship, but from last episode with Vettel winning, wasn't it? Vettel is very, very close to us in the championship. So obviously, there's no more kind of nice guy for both of us. Teammate v teammate. Now he knows he can try and go for the championship, whereas before maybe it was a little bit more open, and maybe he would have been open to letting me through. But now not the case. He's going to put up the fight, and now we have to worry about maybe Hamilton there, because we go onto a bird's eye view shot here. Look how fast Hamilton's closing up. We go very, very aggressive into the parabolic corner, going defensive on the inside, now trying to catch up to Vettel. But just have a look here at the straight line speed difference. With tow, both of us with slipstream, I'm catching up to Vettel, but look how much more Hamilton was closing up to us in that first phase of the straight. And now as we go on, we've got DRS open, Vettel's got DRS as well, and now we sort of box Hamilton in behind us, but we make a really big lunge into turn one, go very, very deep, lock up on the right tyre, but crucially this time round, place our car so correctly there that we don't lose the position. We actually help Vettel out, try and defend from Hamilton, so that's good for us. We've overtaken Vettel, but Vettel hasn't been overtaken by Hamilton, so thumbs up there from all round at Ferrari, I guess, because we made that switch position, but didn't hamper our performance against the Mercedes car there. But speaking of Mercedes, we've got another one up ahead of us, Valtteri Bottas. So he has jumped us in the pit stop phases. We're fighting with Vettel, we fought with Sainz, so all of that's ended up meaning we're behind Bottas, although he is on super soft tyres. So Bottas definitely had some help there on his outlap, but that's very surprising. There's a 2 compound difference there. So Valtteri's definitely going for a very, very aggressive strategy here, along with Vettel actually, because I didn't mention that. Vettel, my teammate, on super soft tyres as well. So very interesting. Both Ferrari and Mercedes splitting their strategies very dramatically, with 2 of them on super softs and then 2 of us, me and Hamilton, on medium tyres. So I don't know how that's going to play out. That's going to be very interesting. But behind us, look at that. I think we've got Hamilton going off circuit a little bit on the Pirelli signs, trying to defend or overtake Vettel as we try and similarly overtake Bottas. And behind us, look at that. They're going 3 wide. Perez, Hamilton and Vettel as we go around the outside of Valtteri Bottas in the second part and phase of that first chicane. And in the background there, you can just about see Perez goes around the outside of both cars there. So Perez has made another double overtake on Hamilton and Vettel there in the background of that shot. So that's absolutely awesome to see. So Perez really outperforming that Force India, I would say, at Monza. Although I guess you could say maybe the Force India is going to be on point here with the Mercedes engine and lower drag setup maybe compared to our cars. But now we move on to lap 10, and it's time to try and just stretch out this as much as we can. We're in P2 at the moment. We've got Bottas behind us, still chasing down on super softs. You can see with the proximity area, he's closing up in Ascari. You can see that we're getting really loose through Ascari there, and our tyres are starting to go off a little bit. We've probably got maybe 4 more laps left or so on these tyres, but Bottas is making a charge. Obviously, he's probably going to come in very early now, very soon for his pit stop, so he needs to try and get away from me, and I'm going to try and do my best to hamper him, obviously. And so we go side by side really beautifully through Parabolica, but now Bottas, there you go, straight away, as I mentioned, he comes into the pit. So we're into P2, chasing out Hulkenberg, who is on mediums. I want to say he started on medium tyres, so that's why he's in a surprising first place at the moment in the Renault car. I would be very surprised if he was actually in that position, but you can see locking up, going a little bit deep into turn one, doing that a lot this Grand Prix. As I mentioned at the start, this is my very first race for about a whole week on this game because I was in LA, obviously a lot of videos pre-recorded, so definitely a little bit rusty on the racecraft and on heavier fuel into turn 1. That turns very tricky as it is, but now we move on to lap 15, 5 laps later, 6 laps later indeed, as we move on to lap 16, and we're finally into P1 as Hulkenberg makes his pit stop. So Hamilton at the moment P2, and then it will be Stroll in a surprising 3rd place here. But yeah, as we move on here, my engineer is asking for a change of strategy. Now, you're about to see this. Look, it confirms onto that top strategy, which was super soft and soft. But I can categorically tell you, I did not choose that. I was going on too focused on what was happening ahead of me, trying to focus on my driving, focusing on also this right-hand side indicator of very worn tyres. So at this point, I assumed the game had done what the game usually does, which is if you don't, respond to Jeff, if you don't verbally respond or, with the directional button, you respond to him, it usually goes to the second option, which is the default strategy that you were put on, which was medium tyres. So I thought that had happened. So I said box this lap, and I thought nothing of it. So I slow down here, lap 16, 11 laps left to the end, so I can comfortably make it on medium tyres, I would say. Obviously there's going to be a lot of tyre wear there, but I could probably about make it to the end on medium tyres. But as we come in here, absolute flipping disaster. My team put on super softs because Jeff is too much of a twat, and he changed my strategy without even me realising it. For like the second race, no, I wouldn't say second race in a row, but second race in 3 races because it was at Hungary, where once again, Jeff and the strategy of this game has messed me over a little bit. In Hungary, I shouldn't have been allowed to be put on a set of worn super soft tyres. Here, I clearly didn't put anything. You're going to have to take my word on it because you can't tell from the gameplay recording, but I did not press anything on my game to indicate, yes, I want the strategy Jeff is indicating to me, and I don't have my microphone hooked up to the game to do verbal commands. So I was really assuming the game would just go, okay, the player hasn't responded, go to default. So now I'm stuck with this. Now I have to go super soft and soft tyres. So we're pretty much blown the win here at Monza, unfortunately, which is going to be pretty upsetting for the Tifosi, pretty upsetting for me, and pretty upsetting for the team as a whole. So we go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, we're on super soft tyres. Hamilton's on mediums, 2 compound difference. I would have hoped we would have the grip to go down the inside, but Hamilton, unfortunately, does have the straight line speed on us. So we have to wait till the main straight with DRS now ducking out on the inside now, going down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, and will hopefully get this going very aggressive, cutting him off at the apex there, and so up into P2 now. And if we're on mediums, that would have been a very awesome P2 to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Hulkenberg would have hit, and Bob's your uncle, we would have been into first place. But no, unfortunately, now we catch up to Pascal Wehrlein. We're going to overtake him on blue flags, but we're going to have to make another pit stop because these super softs definitely can't go to the end. They can only go about 5 laps at best, but realistically only 3 or 4 to get the best performance out of this. So yeah, this is going to be a very kind of bite my tongue kind of performance at the end here. We've got 6 laps to go. We have to come in. You just saw a glimpse of the bad tyre wear in the super softs, and now we come in. And at this point, if I could, I would have been waving my head in shame down the pit lane and would have been very, very angry at the team and at Jeff. Wherever Jeff, I don't know where he sits on the pit wall, if he's in the garage. At this point, he's probably hiding away at the back of the garage under some tyre blankets or something like that, because I will find him and punch him later on in the paddock, because yeah, that's a win thrown away. I could have, not being too cocky and confident, I think I could have definitely won this Grand Prix easily if I went to mediums, but now I have to try and overtake my fellow Finn once again, Valtteri Bottas. We come out behind him. I said he was on a very aggressive strategy, but now I'm joining him on that very aggressive strategy, so now we have to try and re-overtake him for what will be a best place of 4th place. I don't know where 3rd place is, which I don't even know who's in 3rd place. Maybe Vettel. I don't know where he is in all this, but we're going to have to see. But first of all, we have to overtake Bottas. So here we go, through Parabolka, lap 22 now, onto lap 23. Got a good grip against Bottas, who's on warm mediums at this stage, right up his gearbox. We just don't have the straight line speed. Look at this. I pull out to the left. I just don't have the oomph. I just don't have the pull from the Ferrari engine. So I have to duck back in the slipstream, touch his gearbox a little bit for good measure. And into turn 1, he actually cuts me off here quite greatly into turn 1. So Bottas with some great defending, actually. So fair play to him. So now we move on to lap 23 through Ascari, trying to keep it as tight as we can, not cutting any corners here. But you can see really wrestling the car, going opposite lot, kind of soaring away at the steering wheel to try and just wrestle the car into the racing line that we need it. And Jeff has the audacity to ask me for a change of strategy there. You can see on the right-hand side. Jeff, just please piss off. Just piss off. We don't need you anymore in this Grand Prix. I'm just going to the end now. And so now we close up on Bottas once again through Parabolka. And once again, just don't have the oomph off that corner. And once again, having to get in the slipstream. And now, finally now, we've got a much better drive off that, down that main straight compared to last lap now. And we go down the inside. This time, Bottas doesn't have a chance to cut us off. And we actually cut him off into the second apex of that second part of the chicane. And so now up into P4, Stroll is in P3. Very, very surprising, because actually, obviously from the Russian Grand Prix onwards, I listened to you guys and I swapped the AI cards of Stroll and Massa. So Stroll does have indeed the worst Williams AI car. So that's actually very, very surprising that that AI car for Stroll has managed to find himself in third place. So fair play. And so now we try and overtake Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber. Blue flags there. We've got blue flags ahead of us for also Romain Grosjean and Julian Palmer. So hopefully we can get away from them. Although Grosjean will be slipstreaming Palmer, so hopefully gets out of the way. Obviously, the Haas car has an obligation to do that for us. Obviously, kind of a quote-unquote junior Ferrari team, along with Sauber, I guess, who we supply customer engines to. So Grosjean, thankfully, does get out of the way. But Palmer in the Renault may not be so compliant, and he's not. And Palmer, actually, to my surprise, has enough straight line speed and with DRS to stay ahead of me at this point. Palmer, get out the way. You've been a roadblock enough to many people this season so far. I didn't need him to be one for me now here, but now we're up right behind Lance Stroll now on lap 27. So we've got one entire lap left to try and catch up to that Williams car, who's not going to be great in the corners, obviously, with a lack of downforce, that Williams car. And so here we go as we close up towards Ascari, towards the Canadian. Lance Stroll in third place. Can we try and spoil his party here on the dying stage of this Grand Prix? Lewis Hamilton will indeed win the Italian Grand Prix with Max Verstappen in second place, but can we try and get third? Here we go with slipstream. Didn't quite get it on the first time, but we come back into slipstream down the inside of Parabolka, and we have got it for the second time asking there on the Canadian through Parabolka, the exit, and this will be third place here at the Italian Grand Prix. It should have been first, but I can't be too salty about that, because that would be wrong. We need to move on swiftly and just think about the next race. But we still got good points against our teammate Vettel, obviously, who was our main championship rival there, I guess you could say, because we move on to the Drivers' Championship. We're still in the way, 210 to 193 to Vettel, so we've extended our lead, actually, to Vettel, so that's pretty good. And actually, no one else is close to us two Ferrari cars. We're dominating this season. It is really a two-horse race between me and Vettel for the title. And the Constructors, we're the only team to break into the 400 mark, so we're absolutely bossing this season. And I think, even though there was a bit of a contentious moment there in the Grand Prix early on when me and Vettel were unnecessarily fighting, I think at the end of the day, me and Vettel can high-five for our job that we're doing so far. About halfway through the season, I would say, a little bit more, just over halfway, and we're doing a stellar job, I think you could say. So guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, smash the like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and do get subscribed for weekly videos. I've been aarava, hope you enjoyed it today, and I will see you guys next time.